This is Josiah Plays Torment, Tides of Numenera. We are in the final confrontation, talking to the Sorrow. And I was just like, I choose Mika. And first cast off is pissed. Her? You choose the catalyst of this whole situation to survive? She's not blameless. Without her, we'd never have attracted the Sorrow's attention in the first place. She's been dead for centuries, you fool. Give the gift to the living. Well, okay, even if it's not her, it sure the fuck ain't gonna be you first cast off, so either way, you're gonna get sucked into a void of non-existence any minute now, so just calm your shit. She shakes her head. You're wrong again, Marilel. She has a reason for this choice. Look at what you've done with the life you've led. Look at what I have done. Do you really think you'd use extra years for anything but your own glory? Doubt it. Ooh, Matkina arguing for my side. Nice. The Sorrow pauses, evaluating you. See, right here. You know why I said that line, that first sentence? That is reaction to my dominant tide.
You have lived your life compassionately and with sacrifice. Your answer does not come as a surprise, though your willingness to sacrifice the lives of all your siblings does.
Well, you know, what can you do? Okay, hold on. Am I wrong, or is every single answer sacrifice the lives of all my siblings? Was there a single choice that doesn't sacrifice the lives of all my siblings? You could say, what if you go back to the way things were? No, that just means they're all going to get killed eventually by the Sorrow. So no matter what, siblings are all gone. They're all done. They either all get sucked into somebody, or they all get obliterated now, or the Sorrow hunts them down and kills them. There is no, resisting. Resisting might be the one that lets them live. That's true, Anonymous. Alright, your willingness to sacrifice the lives of our siblings.
Tell me, why have you made this decision?
Number 3 is like, 'cause I wanted to. She has been dead for centuries, her life snatched away by forces beyond her control. I want to give her the chance to show her potential. She taps her lips with the flat of her blade. You don't know when the knife appeared in her hand. We've all made a mess of it, haven't we? Her eyes narrow. What makes you think she'll do any better? I mean, apart from competing against all the rest of us and running from the Sorrow and... Alright, I see your point. At least she'll have a chance to shine, and her mistakes will be her own. Throws the blade down to the floor. Fine. Do what you will. I accept.
A fair answer. If this is your choice, then we shall commence with the solution.
Oh boy, that makes it sound dramatic. Secretly, you came to believe I truly was the changing God finally saving my daughter. Well, that's kind of how I feel about it. The whole point of all of this was to save her. If we don't go ahead and do that now, we made all of this fucking pointless. Whereas if we do save her now, all of this had a meaning at least. All of this had an outcome that meant something. It wasn't just a big old fucking waste and a whole bunch of problems caused for no reason. Do you really think I'm gonna stand by and let you make that decision? No, I think I'm gonna snap your fucking neck. Calm your shit. After all I've done for our kind, let me remind you that I am the first. You are the last. I should think that gives me precedence. You should think wrong. There's a reason the Sorrow's asking me what to do and not you. Calm your shit. Is the Sorrow talking to you? No? 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 Calm your shit. Fought against this creature for years, and I won't let the sorrow erase us now. I wish there was an option number 4 in which I simply said, K. In before Mika walks outside and is run over by a cart. She dies of an infection. Alright. It had nothing to do with this situation. She's innocent. Yeah, I like number 2. What have we wrought? What great inventions have we made? The endless battle spilled out of your rage, and look what it became. My choice is final. I ain't playing. She gets all dramatic right here, and it only did 10 damage. No, your final choice is to die by my hand. Well, it's gonna take a lot more than that, sweetie. She strides towards you with murder, and her mask begins to blaze with eldritch energies. But before she can come close to you, a shimmering black screen appears in the space between, writhing with worms of green force, and the sorrow's might shoves the first to her knees. What does one life matter? Nothing. We are all useless. I think my answer was that no life has any inherent cosmic meaning, but that it only has the meanings that we assign to it. And that's pretty much how I feel in real life. Everything's... The only meaning to be found in anything is the meaning we choose to assign to things. Oh, shit's getting dramatic. Graphics. That's how come they just had to have a bunch of mirrors. They made all this graphics right here, and that took up most of their graphics making budget. Sorrow stretches its arms.
Prepare yourself.
The lights that dance through its form coalesce. The tormented minds that hang within it begin to stream away, drawn to some hidden singularity at the heart of the chamber. The sorrow dissolves, thread by thread, into that invisible whole, decohering into a lattice, a ring, a nearly comprehensible language of symbols and thoughts laying its purpose bare. A pure white light grows at the heart of the resonance, reaching towards you. The light envelops you in a soft embrace. The walls of the labyrinth collapse around you. You and the other cast-offs become the singularity. And the minds of the cast-offs trickle towards you. A stream, a torrent, a flood, a tsunami of experience and memories that stretch across centuries and worlds unimagined, and you remember it all. You remember it all. The pain and tragedy and suffering and triumph, all the motes and dreams of countless others trying to leave their mark on the world. I don't know what she will do, but I don't know what anyone else would do either. Why would I resist these last memories? Of course I want to let the memories come. The torrent continues as you surrender control. The memories of cast-offs you have met, the ones you will never meet, fill your mind and overwhelm you. You taste their bitter notes and their sweet, the knowledge of solitude and the deaths of friends, every life, every love, every enemy. The first kiss, the first broken heart, the triumph of justice served, the ashen thrill of revenge realized, sadness, joy, fear, anger, the secrets hidden and the truths revealed. Alright, I feel like this would make you extremely fucking wise. To have all of those experiences of so many different lives, and to have learned all of the lessons that all of those people learned in all of those lives, you would have such an understanding of humanity. You would have such an understanding of people and of life You would be so wise. I feel like anybody that we would have put this into would have been made incredibly wise by it. Or extremely fucking psychotic, but to me, wisdom and craziness go hand in hand. The first isn't the first body of the changing god. The first is the first fake body that he went into. The first isn't the actual original body of the changing god. His original body was male, because he was the father of Mika. The first, clone body that he made to inhabit. And then when he left that body, it became the first cast-off. Alright, let's see what happens next. All their memories and hopes congeal and compress, joining yours. They overwhelm you, a rising tide of demands and wills honed by centuries of life, drowning you within them. You surrender your identity, sinking into the resonance, and they sink with you, combining into a single sweet note. And then the memories are gone as you stream into Mika's mind and memories, filling her with the wisdom and experience of your lives. See, that's what I was just saying. All right, Saito, you're talking about atrocities, Saito. You're talking about atrocities. You shut out sensation and thought, coiling in on yourself like a flower returning to its seed. And then, a great radiance surrounds your mind, an encompassing brilliance. You slip into oblivion, secure in the knowledge that some fraction of your life continues on. Now, when you open your eyes, vertigo assails you. The sorrow hovers here, its tendrils coiling and twisting. You sit up. The detritus of the battle surrounds you, but you feel a quietness in the room. A lack. Why am I still alive? It takes you a moment, and then you realize the first is gone, as are all her allies. Not just dead, but vanished utterly. Even Matkina is gone. No sign remains of her passage, but Alagurn's still here. Because Matkina was a cast-off, and he's not. The world is familiar, but you are seeing it through new eyes. You feel your consciousness slipping away as if sliding under a tectonic plate. You are becoming Mika. I am becoming! Sorrow says, I lied, and kills you.
The resonance is sealed, the tides once again at rest. Your father's final vessel has restored you to life, and all the cast-offs are a part of you now. Our journey is concluded.
What happened to my father?
Lost child, he spent his years trying to restore you to life. He has succeeded, though at the cost of his own.
Sorrow pauses.
I caution you against any attempt to restore him. Let his legacy be manifest in your person.
Yeah, I know, right? Everything about this game keeps reminding me of Torment and making me want to play it. Dramacarius, please don't use that word. That's one of the few words that I don't like being used in here. Yeah, we're not going to try to restore the changing god. That guy was cray. What happened? Tell me what happened to my father again. I'm still asking questions twice, even when I'm Mika. Couldn't talk the sorrow into becoming the sixth tide? That'd be interesting.
He is lost, child. Gone. The legacy he leaves is his history. And you.
What happened to the last cast-off?
She chose to give her life for you. She allowed her mind to join those of her siblings in the resonance, and they created the foundation for your new life.
Tell me again what happened to the last cast-off.
She is inside you, subsumed by the birth of your mind.
Become the Tide Surfer. That sounds pretty cool. Turn to Alagurn. What will you do now?
First order of business is to get out of the bloom. Maybe head back to Orman. I need to let my people out. After that, if you happen to be in the area, I'd be happy to introduce you to my wife and daughter. They'd like to meet you, I bet. Come to think of it, I would too. You're the one whose life kicked all this off, after all. And you're new to it. I'll give you some pointers. Worked out well for the last person that lived in your body.
Alagurn, that was about as much voice acting right there as he's had the entire rest of the game combined.
Go now. Choose a wiser path than your father did, and we will not meet again.
The sorrow fades into the air, and then it is gone. You look away from the diseased patch of air, but this place is not much better. You are surrounded by blackened, bloody rubble, by death. It is time, perhaps, for some fresh air. Taking a deep breath, you set off. I think we win. Achievement unlocked, Legacy. The daughter of the changing gods set out into the world he had, without knowing, made for her. She traveled in the body that had once belonged to the last cast-off, and with a mind forged by sacrifice. You were remembered for your wisdom and selflessness. For many years to come, tales of your life inspired healers to know themselves, to better themselves, and to make the world a better place. Yeah, that's me. I'm leaving behind all kind of good-ass legacy. Achievement unlocked, Priest restored. Alagurn returned to Orman with the frame that had brought him so much grief. One by one, he pulled his tattoos free and cast them through the black metal portal. His friends emerged on the other side, dazed and shocked by their long years of imprisonment in Alagurn's mind and body. He saved his wife and daughter for last, hoping without hope that they would be unharmed. They suffered no lasting damage. How did you save the cast-offs? You mean by resisting the sorrow? No! I wasn't done reading that! I didn't click next! God damn it. What became of Calistige, no one knows. Some say she wandered into the deserts around Sagus. Others say she was found dead on the street shortly after the most recent Bloomquake. And others still say she wanders the Hey now, this is going too fucking fast! Tabir returned to Sagus Cliffs, bowed beneath the weight of his guilt and the loss of his lover Aveen. Bereft of any greater purpose, he really dedicated himself to the mirror of scheme. I'm not even going to read these out loud. Death of Tabir. Oh, he was executed. Wow. This is what happened when you don't take them with you and, like, solve their personal shit. Eridus. Driven by the competing urges of the voices in his head. Wow, people get some terrible endings if they weren't in your party. Alright, see you later, Dramacarius. Have a good night. Rin returned to her world content. She had rescued the one who had so kindly rescued her. In so doing, she brought closure to a significant part of her life. She would never forget the last cast-off. As for the rest of her story, that has yet to be written. Please tell me they're gonna make a sequel or an expansion where you play Rin as the main character. That would be cool as shit. Alara, the girl once known as Loss of Self, not only remembered her name and the faces of her parents, but the next time they came to bring her food, she was able to tell them everything that had happened to her. Alara returned home, happy for the first time in years. Nim and Zeb remained in Cliff's Edge for many years. Nim became an artist, though her sculptures never sold very well. Zeb found work in the underbelly as a scavenger for the foreman. Their father, Zebak, returned from the Bloom finally, thanks to me. He was proud of what his children have become, and the three of them lived a hard but joyful life together. They didn't have quests, Saito, that's the thing. The Fifth Eye veterans recruited for the endless battle fought hard. But with the disappearance of the cast-offs, the endless battle quickly petered out. A few groups continued to fight, but most of the combatants left, for other battles or simply for the comfort of a Fifth Eye drink. The tiny construct children of the crippled foreman, scattered throughout the city, began building things at random. He now instructs them. That's pretty cool. A cover shooter spin-off? I'd play that still. The fact that these bits right here go away before you click next does not make me happy. Quake's been in Sega's cliff seas for many years, despite Peliai's concerns. Nobody knows what has become of them. Yeah, because I pulled them back into my party and tried to talk to them, and they didn't have anything new to say. And they never had like an official quest that they gave you. The Endless Gate closed. Ronos and the other surviving Memorialists were able to clean and rebuild. It took months before the last of the blood was removed. They never did get rid of the smells. Bloom was relatively quiet for days after the Sorrow's attack on the Memavira's fortress. Units of Lil and Iliash fighting. Bloom became a deadly battleground. We are still there, hoping the violence will die down. I think you have to have them with you during key story moments. To have them react to certain things. Cody worked hard at the Bloomflesh shop. Nice. So Cody turned out to have a good life. Just like with Rin's thing, you could never send Rin home if you didn't happen to have Rin in your party when you went and talked to the portal chest guy. Taglione's troop remained in Kyurton's slump. God, the man's got to make a living somehow. Making sure the slump remains safe. Ruins of Miela Vest. Oh, that place was cool. Wondering what happened in this place. What in the ninth world could have caused so much destruction? we're going back to main menu now, or yeah. Whoa, what's going on with the main menu? Is this a bug, or is it supposed to be doing this? Because it looks sort of weird right now. This has got to be a bug, right? In your game, Cartaglio encouragement was fed to the maw. Alright, so now we're going to go back. We're going to go back. And we're going to do things a little differently here. Okay, here we go.
I'm going.
That's a cool loading screen, though. I'm gonna try 2 more different ones. I want to say something different here. You said you're resisted. No, actually, we'll say this one. Next time I'll say this one. But the cast-offs would survive.
You and your kind would survive unscathed, yes. But the result for so many others, both now and in the future, would be catastrophic. I have not yet assessed if it would ripple through dimensions, though indications for such repercussions are strong. It is not in my nature to allow such a thing.
Alright, how do I choose? Why don't you just sever the connection? What if you don't approve of my choice? Very well, I'm ready. Alright, so this time what I'm gonna do, I want to do the one where it destroys all the cast-offs, and see what that one is like, and then I'll do number 7. We cast-offs are a cancer. I will sever the tidal connection to excise our influence on the world. Cancer? Really? You don't know our kind like I do. You haven't served with them in the trenches of the endless battle, fought the secret wars of history, guided human civilization in the Sage's protectorate. If it weren't for the cast-offs, so much of history here would be different that the place would be unrecognizable. You could feel the sneer behind the mask. The only cancer is in your mind, infant.
You would allow me to slaughter hundreds of individuals, your kind, for the sole purpose of your belief. This does not seem in keeping with your choices to this point, but I do not judge.
I'll destroy all of you, but I don't want to judge you. Let's just be clear. I'm not judging you. I'm just here to completely destroy you all. It pauses, a swirl of energy and color.
I must know. This solution is my ideal, for it will end in a chance that another cast-off will reawaken me. But most mortals will go to almost any length to preserve their lives. Why do you differ?
I'm a video game protagonist? What you said earlier, that we trail misery in our wake, supersedes those concerns. We leave too much pain in this world to justify continuing. The first stares hard at you, her eyes burning behind her mask. You don't know how hard I've worked for our survival. You don't know the sacrifices I've made. You don't know what it has cost. She laughs softly and shrugs. But I'm deluding myself. The endless battle, murder, betrayal, all in the name of advancing our cause without considering the greater costs. The sorrow is here, and everything I've worked for has failed. A sigh escapes her. I hope, at least, the sorrow will remember us as worthy prey. The sorrow's energies swirl about it, its tattered cloak flapping in a non-existent breeze, but it says nothing. Then it addresses you.
This is in accord with my observations.
Even I'm a disease, sister? I thought we had an understanding. She laughs, low and terrified. I know what you mean. You don't have to explain yourself to me. None of us are any good. Not in the long view. I suppose you're making the right choice. Alright. This part's the same. This part's the same. This part's the same. They overwhelm you, a rising tide of demands and wills honed by centuries of life, drowning you within them. You surrender your identity, sinking into the resonance. Then the memories are gone. You shut out sensation and thought, coiling in on yourself like a flower returning to its seed. And then, a great radiance surrounds your mind, an encompassing brilliance. You slip into oblivion. Who the fuck is Desaro gonna be talking to now? Just Aligern? Detritus and ruin litter the courtyard of the Memavira's fortress. The first is gone, along with all her allies. So too is the last cast-off, vanished utterly, erased from existence. I knew he was determined to change the legacy of his kind. But, kill them all? Harsh judgment. He? Motherfucker! He dusts off his jacket, blows on his hands, and glances to the door of the fortress. Nothing else remains but the soft sighing of the wind. After a short time, even that subsides. So that's a lot less interesting. The absence of the cast-offs changed the Ninth World, sometimes for the better, often for the worse. Cast-offs were powerful, seats of power, okay. Remember for your, yeah, alright. Suffered no lasting damage. He learned to understand the frame and its function. Ormond became a nomadic village, carried on the body of a solitary traveler. People flourished, and none forgot the name of the man who showed them the new way, Aligern. So he got a great ending because I helped him. Calistige wasn't in my party, therefore she pretty much drifts off and becomes a fucking junkie and is found laying in a fucking alley in a pile of her own shit and piss or whatever. Okay. All the rest of you should... Tibir got the worst ending, though. Tibir's ending sucked. And Iratus' wasn't good either. I like this right here! There's the rest of her story that is yet to be written. Maybe Rothfuss will write a book about Rin. That would be really good, too. I love Rothfuss. He's my... Of course, we're talking about Rothfuss writing a book, right? So, I can't wait till 2030. The year 2030. When I can read that book. The rest of these are all the same. this is different. I don't remember it saying this last time. The Fifth Eye veterans. But with the disappearance of the cast-offs, the endless battle quickly petered out. Oh, so I ended the endless battle by doing this. That's actually a pretty significant change. I mean, that's a pretty significant thing to do. Because the endless battle is a fucking nightmare that's causing nothing but untold suffering and death and horror. So by getting rid of all the cast-offs, you end the endless battle. Stitcha, Skate, Bloom, Cody, Taglio, Vest. Alright. I don't remember that one. Now we're gonna resist the sorrow. Now we're gonna resist the sorrow and see what happens.
Fine.
I came here to stop you from hunting us.
Then you must cease to exist. So long as you are fractured and bleeding across the world, I will hunt you. The years of pursuing your kind have been without surcease. I would return to dormancy, but I cannot until the tides are clean again. I hunt your kind to remove your contagion. Because you are here, you will make the choice of how the cleansing occurs.
A tendril caresses your cheek. Okay, getting creepy there, Sorrow.
And then we will find rest again.
You said you'll resist it. That means I can overcome you. It radiates a chill, and you feel a flash of colors ripple across you. The minds tethered to its tendrils moan. Its voice is lower, ominous.
You would destroy the sanity of thousands, decimating this part of the world for thousands of years. Up until now, I have held back, content to stalk your kind through centuries if need be. But this, I will not allow under any circumstances. You would not survive.
Okay, how do I choose? Why don't you just sever the connection? What if you don't approve of my choice? Very well, I'm ready to make my choice. Die, motherfucker! I reject your authority, Sorrow. I will use the resonance to destroy you, and all of us will live free. It stirs and starts, and the colors that flicker around the Sorrow are like angry lightning.
Did you not understand me? If you destroy me, you destroy the protections on the tides. You will unleash an explosion of tides that will drive hundreds of thousands of people to madness, death, or worse. You will pollute this land for generations. I will oppose you with every ounce of my strength.
So it sounds like choosing to resist the Sorrow is actually the evil ending choice. Well, I suppose there's... You could call the taking everybody to the end of yourself and saving yourself as a fairly evil ending, but it might not be if you're planning to, you know, be a good steward and you're trying to, you think that's the best thing. But this is pretty much the evil choice, because this is saying, I give no fucks, I'm willing to cause the fucking apocalypse just to save myself in the short term. Wow, there's suddenly a shitload more dialogue choices. Wasn't expecting that. Alright, let's go through this. Word civilizations. Yeah, number one's a good point. Number one's a solid point. I refuse to say I want you, though. Those lives pale, the horrors you might yet unleash, go to the future. Slaves to terror. Will truly be free. I know your weaknesses. Okay, this is just straight up nonsense. That's just not even true. Like, we don't know the Sorrow's weaknesses. We are certainly not the Sorrow's equal. Well, unless we think the Sorrow is lying to us. Which I don't think we have any reason to believe the Sorrow's not being honest. Unless we think the Sorrow is lying to us, the Sorrow has explained things to us in such a way that we know that the continuing existence of the cast-offs is in fact a terrible thing. The destruction of the Sorrow is in fact a terrible thing. Based on what's going to happen if we destroy the Sorrow. I mean, if this is true, and again, we really have not been giving in any indication that the Sorrow is going to make shit up. The Sorrow seems pretty fucking straight arrow. No, it wasn't created, it was awakened. He said it was awakened. It was dormant, it was sleeping, and then the manipulation of the tides caused it to wake up. So it's a guardian that was specifically created to prevent fucking around with the tides. If we assume this is actually true, it seems like there's really no excuse for letting this happen besides sheer selfishness. Alright, so number 4 is nonsense. We don't know its weaknesses. Number 5 is sounding a little overconfident. Number 6. Number 7. There's a lot of choices here that I like. I like number 1. I like number 2. I like number 3. I don't like 4 and 5. They seem a little bit blustery and also not true. Number 6 isn't bad, and number 7 is also pretty cool. So I think I'm gonna go... As long as you live, we are slaves to terror. A terror inflicted on us by your creators. In destroying you, we will be truly free.
As you wish.
The Sorrow coils in upon itself and begins to unwind, a streaming tapestry of tendrils and tattered minds and captured tides, a kaleidoscope of colors undreamt by the human mind. Every urge, every nerve in your body screams of danger, poison, of an unstoppable predator. The Sorrow billows and blooms and rears above you as it prepares the annihilating blow. Use your last shreds of will to blast the Sorrow, though it will destroy you. This is like the ending of Planescape Torment where you can kill yourself, and in killing yourself, also destroy the transcendent one. Oops, special graphics. It seizes upon your weakness. And even as you try to raise a last hasty defense, its energies tail through your mind. This was basically the equivalent of snap neck in the dialogue. The energies tear through your mind. You feel a burning, the cold of interstellar space, and the pressure of the ocean of time as the sorrow tears you apart. But your attacks have done their damage. The sorrow loses control of its shape, of its energy, and it shrieks with impotent rage. The sorrow erupts in a corona of tidal flame, erasing everything around it.
You fool! You have brought madness to the innocent!
Gobbets of energy. Gobbets of energy? Really? Nice. Spatter. The chamber is now bespattered by gobbets of energy. With a final desperate lunge, the sorrow casts its dissipating self across the resonance, immersing itself in its radiance. See ya, and I wouldn't want to be ya. Whoa, what the fuck is happening? The resonance darkens, the sorrow's will eating away at its integrity like acid. You feel the chamber breaking down around you, the labyrinth disintegrating, and your connection to your fellow cast-offs disappearing. The dream space fades as the sorrow implodes. And then, darkness. Of course, the good news is this choice keeps Matt Kina alive and me. The bad news is we don't cure Mika. We continue the endless battle going. So those are bad things. And plus, we're also bringing on the apocalypse. Yeah, that's where all their animation and graphics budget went into, basically, right there. And then, darkness. Oh, this isn't a legit ending. This is a game over. This is not a real ending. This is a you just lost the game. Your deed spreads across the world with the impact of an asteroid, working wanton destruction and irrevocable transformation alike. Your kind endures, mortal but free from the sorrow's long shadow. Others pay a price in madness. This new world, one both brighter and darker than before your birth, is your legacy. Wow. Well, okay then. Well, we've seen the endings that I was interested in. I mean, the others are not going to be any particularly different. I do want to save number 1 for my next playthrough. That's the one I want to choose that time. I don't think it's Mass Effect 3-like. Yeah, I think it's fine. I liked the different endings. Yeah, I agree with Brittany. The whole game gives context through choice. I don't think it invalidates any of your previous choices. How does it invalidate your previous choices? I mean, that was... Well, every slide for that ending would have been, these people fucked because you brought about the apocalypse. Next slide. These people fucked also. Next slide. These people, remember them? Fucked. Next slide. These people also fucked. I mean, it would be, that would invalidate all your previous choices. If you really had the loading screen, or really had the slides, it would be telling you, hey, literally all the good things you did for people throughout the entire game, you just erased all that shit because you decided to unleash Cthulhu on the world. You can basically just choose as you will, regardless of your previous... Oh, that's an interesting point, Saito. I mean, to me, this feels like it's the equivalent of setting off nuclear weapons. Yes, people are going to survive afterwards, and they're going to rise again, eventually. But you just nuked a bunch of cities, basically. So that's Torment Tides of Numenera. Wow. I'm gonna roll the credits again. So I really liked the game. Liked it a hell of a lot. I feel personally, unlike what Enigma Soul was saying, I feel that they delivered the game they said they were gonna make. I feel that it met their pillars. I feel that this game was made with the same kind of game design philosophies and themes and ambitions that were involved in Planescape Torment. Do I like this as much as Planescape Torment, ultimately? No. Planescape Torment remains my favorite game, and this game does not eclipse it, nor is this game tied with it. But this game is now really high up there on my favorites. I think it is the closest thing that we have seen to Planescape Torment since Planescape Torment. A scale from Battlegrounds to Planescape Torment. It's up there near Planescape Torment, but it's not as good. I mean, there's a lot of really creative stuff in this. A lot of really good dialogues. A lot of really interesting descriptions and really cool scenes and really cool items and things to interact with and memories and stuff. I love the mirrors. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff in this and a lot of good writing and creative writing. But it still doesn't have the magic that Planescape Torment has. It doesn't... I think one of the things that was so great about Planescape Torment was it surprised you constantly. It was so different from all the previous games that you had played. All the D&D based games that you had played and other fantasy RPGs. And so everything you expected, it turned those expectations around on you. Whereas this game, I feel like everything was pretty much what you expected. You go into it knowing that Numenera is super fucking weird, and that it's gonna be full of super weird shit. And so it is. It's full of super weird shit. It's the Numenera you're expecting, basically. Do I like this better than Tyranny? I'd say yes. I'd say I do. I like Tyranny a whole hell of a lot. I don't feel like they can be directly compared because they aren't the same kind of game. I just think they're not the same kind of game. I don't know if you can really put anything in the category of this game in terms of being the same. it's so strange and different. I mean, with the amount of text, the amount of writing, the oddness of the turn-based combat, the sparseness of combat, the fact that most of the combats, if not all, can be avoided. I mean, you could probably get through this game only fighting once or twice. Way better world building than both Pillars and Tyranny. Well, certainly way more world building. Absolutely. I felt the setting in Tyranny was more coherent than the setting in this. Like I was talking about earlier when Enigma Soul was here. The setting did not feel coherent. We're gonna run the backer credits. That'll take a while. You did not hear Gallard once? I mean, come on. My complaints about this game would be no combat log. It needed a combat log, in my opinion. That would have made the combat better. The XP thing. Making the level cap that low when you're earning fucking thousands of XP beyond it is obnoxious. It's just obnoxious. Level cap too low. No combat log. Do I have any other actual mechanical complaints about the game? Not really that I can think of. I feel like you didn't have the ending was not as nuanced or as complex or interactive in a way as Planescape Torment was. The setting was not as coherent, like I said. The characters, like I said earlier, were not as weird. They were not weird enough. They weren't outsiders, like Enigma Soul said. They were good. I liked the companion characters, most of them anyway. I liked them quite a bit, but they felt too normal. They felt too normal. The particle effects, I thought you said you wanted an option to turn them down off. Oh, well, yeah, I mean, that'd be nice. That's just something I feel about all games, basically. But that's not a thing that I would hold against a game. Yeah, the characters were just too normal, the companions. Even the ones that were a little bit weird, like Calistige and Eratus maybe, they just weren't weird enough. Allegern, Tabir, and Matt Keenan were normal as shit. You felt like Tyranny was shallow? I loved the setting in Tyranny. I loved it. Did you like the time? Oh, you're right, Anonymous. That's the other thing that I hate. Time passage implementation. Nope. Do not like that. Never fucking do that to me. Please. Don't do that to me. I hate it. I don't want shit to change unless I change it. I don't want shit to just happen in the world. Yeah, that's more realistic. It makes you feel like the world is more alive. I don't want the world to be that alive. I don't. I want every NPC to be there, ready to give me the conversations and the quests. I don't want NPCs that only appear after I've rested. Now, if they only appear after I've done a certain thing in the story, that makes sense, and that's fine. But if they only appear because I rested, which is such an arbitrary sort of metagame thing, really, to me, I didn't like that. We missed your thing? Not necessarily, because these are in, they're in sections, they're in groups, and we might not have even gotten to the group that I'm in yet. I don't know what group we're in right now. These might all still be people that donated more money than I did. But I loved this game. There were so many great moments in it, so many interesting things to discover, so many interesting characters. I mean, when you compare this RPG to all of those bog standard generic RPGs out there, they certainly feel really fucking generic, those other RPGs, in comparison to this, except for Planescape Torment. There were so many super weird characters, and yet, strangely, your party members were not that weird. So, I liked it a lot. It's probably one of my favorite games now. I always feel hesitant to call a game one of my favorite games after I've first played it for the first time. I feel like some time needs to pass for me to digest a game, for me to see how much I remember it a year, 2 years, 5 years later. Because that's a big part of me saying a game is one of my favorites. If I'm still remembering a lot of stuff from it and thinking it was so great, 5 years from now, then I can say, okay, this is one of my favorite games ever. Or if I want to play it multiple times. And so it's hard for me to call a game that I just finished playing once one of my favorite games ever. But I feel like it's going to be one of my favorite games ever once I've had time to digest it. But it's not as good as Torment. It's not as good as Torment, but I think it lived up to what it was trying to do. I think they delivered the game that I was hoping for, that I was expecting, that I wanted. I backed this game to the tune of like $380. I paid like $380 for this game, which is more than I've ever paid for any game by a wide margin. Because I was so excited by the concept, by the promise that I could have another experience similar in some ways to the experience I had with Planescape Torment. And so, having spent that much money on it, and built it up in my mind and waiting for it for 4 years, I feel that I am not disappointed. I got what I was looking for out of it. Even though I wasn't expecting it to be as good as Planescape Torment, or better. I just was expecting it to be close enough. And I think it was close enough. Well, I had a lot more spare money at the time when I backed this than I have now. But still, that was all the money I had. All the money that I had saved up and could actually spend on something. Got 20 extra viewers for 3 streams for those money? Yeah, worth it. Hella worth it. Hella worth it. But I never even knew I was going to do that at the time either. I backed this before I ever even started streaming. So I never thought oh, I'll be streaming and I can give these copies of the game away. I didn't know what I was going to do with the extra copies. I just got them because there was no other add-on items that I could get, basically. So I loved it. I did love it. Lived up to what I was looking for. I think it's a worthy spiritual successor to Planescape Torment, even though it's not as good as Planescape Torment for various hard to describe, hard to define ways or reasons. When do you think I'll start Planescape? Will you take a break before launching into that? I don't know, actually, exactly. I mean, I might start it tomorrow. Or I might not. I can't start streaming Horizon Zero Dawn yet because I'm waiting to get all the things I need to make it work. I needed to buy a router because I have to have my computer internet going at the same time. And so I had to buy a router. But now I also need 2 LAN cables. I ordered some. They're going to be delivered to me. So basically I can't start doing that until I get those LAN cables. But you're gonna play Dark Souls 3 expansion now? I didn't even know Dark Souls 3 had an expansion. I've never played it. I've played a little bit of Dark Souls 1. Alright, you're gonna be back for some Planescape Torment. Cool. See you later. Have a good one, Root Brittany. Have a good one. So I definitely enjoyed this. I'm not disappointed. I will certainly play this again. More than once. Even though I'm not going to play it again right now. I will certainly play it again, and I will tell anyone who asked that it's a great game, that I recommend it, they should get it. If they like reading. If they like reading in an RPG. And turn-based combat. Some people hate those things, in which case I would not recommend this game to them. Yeah, a lot of Erics. A lot of Erics. A lot of Gabriels. A lot of Garys. A lot of Georges. And remember, this is just one section of the backers. Because these credits are divided into backers based on how much they gave. A lot of Gregs, holy shit. So there would be more Erics and Gregs and so forth in the other sections. Oh, man. How long did this take me? It took me about 118 hours ish. I don't know what name I used for this. I might have used Josiah, or I might have used Firesnake or Firesnake Ares. If I used Josiah, it could be coming up here because I think I might have been a Cypher level backer. I don't actually remember what section I'm supposed to be in. A lot of Jakes. A lot of Jameses. A lot of Jameses. So many Jameses. Holy shit, the Jameses. They just keep going on and on. It's like an endless well of Jameses. You know, I would have liked it if they'd gotten that other content in the game that they said they were going to. I would have liked it if the game had been even longer. I got plenty of hours out of it. Plenty. But of course, playing at Josiah speed is not representative of how many hours a real person would get out of a game. I got plenty of... I feel like it had plenty of content for me. But I still would have liked to have that other content, you know, because they said you're going to get to go to those places, and I was looking forward to it, but... Plus, they said there was going to be more companions, and there weren't. And that, I don't really mind that so much. It would have been nice to have more stuff, but I don't really mind. A lot of Johns. A lot of Johns. I got what I paid for. I hope they make another game like this. It doesn't have to be a sequel to this. It doesn't have to be set in Numenera at all. It doesn't even have to be called Torment. I just want another game made that's like this. With... Oh, there's my name. That's me. Josiah Castle. Yay, I'm in the credits. I basically made this game, as I understand things. This game that I made is pretty good. I just want more games like this to be made. And because I wanted games like this to be made so badly, that's why I backed this to the degree that I did. Because I needed this game to be made. Because ever since Planescape Torment, I've been looking for a game like it, and I've been disappointed all these years. Since 1999. You were the only Josiah. Well, it's not a super common name. And so yeah, hopefully another super text heavy, super descriptive, really interesting, philosophical, kind of cerebral at times, really weird, different from other games, kind of RPGs will be made. Like this. Look, Ma, I'm in the credits. So Planescape Torment, oh my god, such a great game. I'm gonna be playing it maybe tomorrow. You know, Saito, I can do what I did with the other thing. The other thing. Imagine being a John. You'd just be one in a sea of Johns. Yeah, and a sea of Johns doesn't sound like a good thing if you think about some of the slang meanings of the term John. I could just not even stream that unless you're here. I don't know how long that would extend the length of the stream in terms of how long it would take to finish, but I don't really care how long it takes to finish. I was thinking about just streaming it and then just streaming it again. Because I happen to notice something interesting. Hardly anyone ever streams that game on Twitch. But whenever somebody does, even if they're a really small streamer with hardly any followers, they get a shitload of viewers. Because that game is really popular among certain people. So I feel like probably if I stream that, a lot of new people will tune in to watch it, even that have never heard of me before. Because I'll be the only person streaming it, you know what I mean? But yeah, I do want you to be there while I stream that, Saito. So I can always just stream something else and then switch to that after you show up. Depending on how much you're going to be around. So I should probably end this video. I'm still recording, and we're at 1 hour and 13 minutes, and I think I'm pretty done giving my final thoughts on the game, I guess. Man, I kind of do just want to start playing it again, though, because it's so good, but I'm going to wait, because I think they're going to make, like, a director's cut, or an enhanced edition, or, you know, some thing like they did with Wasteland 2, and, like, the Shadowrun people did, and like a lot of, and like the Divinity Original Sin did. A lot of these games coming out lately have had a sort of improved version that's come out, you know, a few months after the original version came out. And so if that's a thing, if that becomes a thing, then I'll definitely replay it then on that better version. Because they said they're working on more content to add to the game that they didn't have time to finish. So I kind of want to wait and let them patch some stuff in and then start it again, you know? But anyway, that is going to do it for this episode, and that is going to do it for this playthrough. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. This has been Josiah Plays Torment, Tides of Numenera.